Is your patience wearing thin? Are you still questioning why union hasn't happened yet? Still frustrated as to why your twin hasn't come back? Well, patience is one of the biggest things we will master on this journey. Not just patience with your twin flame, but patience with yourself. Healing takes time. It's not an overnight fix. So trust the process. Union will happen once the healing is done. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. Our patience is probably one of the biggest things that will be tested on this journey. We expect everything to happen tomorrow. When we're in this energy of need, of desperation, of obsessive thinking, we literally think it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow. And I used to go through this. It was literally like a matter of, why hasn't he texted me? And then the day comes and then the day is over and you're upset because they hadn't responded or they haven't texted you. And it's just like every day you're literally waiting. You're waiting for that text. You're waiting for them to come back. But you have to remember, healing isn't easy. And healing is not an overnight thing. You know, we're forgetting this. Like we're in this energy of comparing it to a normal 3D connection, this fast-paced energy of a 3D connection. It's not going to work like that. Union only happens when the healing is done. And healing does not take overnight. It takes fucking time. We're not just healing our trauma from this life. We're healing trauma from fucking many past lives. Like loads of stuff. And if you're in the energy of frustration, of fear, of desperation, of wondering when it's going to happen, that means you're still healing as well. And if you're, and I've done this myself, we're all on the spiritual journey and we're all on this healing journey. We know how hard it is, and if you're still in the depths of your healing and your twin flame is still choosing karmic situations, it means that they have stuff to heal as well. You cannot come back into union if the two of you are unhealed, or if the two of you are still running from what you do need to heal. If you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for them to respond or text, excuse me, it's just not going to happen, because what you should be doing is concentrating on you, doing your inner work and doing your inner growth. And that's another thing as well. We keep thinking, I can fix them. I'll save them. I'll be their savior. I'll make sure that they're fixed, they're healed. But you can't do that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's mirrored energy. So if you're not doing your work, trying to fix your twin, it's literally going to have the opposite effect that you want it to have, because it's going to make them run more from their own feelings, from their own healing, and from their own everything. They're still going to go back into karmic loops. And while you're trying to fix them, you're losing yourself. And that's one of the biggest things that happens, is that literally our energy, if we try to fix somebody who's not ready to be fixed, or, as I said, we can't even fix anyone. Like you can help people along. But when it comes to your twin flame, it is not your responsibility to heal them. And if you keep trying to put your energy into what they're doing, wondering why they're doing this, wondering why they're not doing this, you're literally draining your own life force energy as a way of trying to repair their lives. But you cannot repair them. You can only repair yourself. And that's when the mirror comes in as well. If you really want to fix your twin flame, or not fix, I hate saying the word fix. Yes, we are broken, but we're healing. But if you really want to help them, you have to concentrate on you. But have patience with that. We're so, I know, especially because we're on this journey so long, the roller coaster keeps going over and over and over and over again. And we do get to the energy of, is it ever going to end? Like, healing doesn't end anyway. Not really. We will have stuff to heal when we're in union as well. But we do wonder, is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? But if you're in that energy, literally, it's like you're running after something that's literally, every time you go forward after it, it goes further away. So every time you're in this impatient energy, this desperation energy, this fearful energy, you're literally running after something that's running away from you. Whereas if you stay in the one spot, not stay in the one spot because you're moving forward all the time, but if you'd stay concentrating on your growth and your healing, have patience with yourself, and have patience with your twin, then it actually comes closer. You don't actually have to, that's the beauty of it. You run after it, it runs away. You stand still and do your work, and it comes closer. You don't have to do anything. You magnetize it towards you with your growth and your healing and your patience. And this is one things in my life that I wasn't, and I was never ever patient. I was probably the most impatient person you would ever meet, frustrated about everything. And that's not just with my journey, it was with everything in my life. You know, if I was in traffic or if I was in a queue or if anything was delayed, I was just like, I'd get angry. And I'm like, why are you getting angry? Now it's like, if I'm delayed in any way, shape or form, I see this as the universe teaching me patience. You know what I mean? And now I take the time, if I'm waiting in a waiting room for over an hour, I use that time productively. Do you know, I'm not staring at my phone. I'm literally going through everything in my head. I'm doing my inner work, because you can use every moment of pause that you have, whether that is sitting in traffic or standing in a queue. You can literally spend that time doing your inner work. So like, that's it. Like, your patience is giving you the opportunity to look within. Being in the moment, not rushing to the next step, is giving you that time. And that's what patience is. Patience is that time to heal, that time to do that inner work, you know. And like, if we're constantly in this frustration energy, that's avoidance effectively, because we're literally doing the opposite of what we should be doing, which is inner work, mindfulness, introspection, self-care, self-compassion, self-patience. I'm going to keep saying the word patience. We need to have patience in this journey. And that's it. And as I said, like, you know, you're literally waiting for that text message. You're spending your whole days, your whole life right now, waiting for their next contact. When what you should be doing is surrendering to the fact that they will contact when they're ready. And that's it. Like, you know, the healing is, as I said, it's not a quick fix. This is not like sticking a band-aid on something and burying it. No, we've done that our whole lives. What we need to do is rip the band-aid off and heal the wound. It's that simple. And it does take time and patience. You know, you'll see this yourself. You'll be in moments of separation, and you'll be in your frustration energy, you'll be in your anger energy, and then you'll get your triggers, and then you'll start to see, okay, I have a lot more to heal, and you'll see how deep your own wounds are. And you'll actually say to yourself, oh, now I understand. The reason there's a pause in communication is because I have shit to do as well. You know, we're constantly saying, why are they not healing? Why aren't they taking action? But like, I've seen this as well in my journey. I have still lots of stuff to heal, and I'm well on my way. I'm actually I really do think that the union timeline is happening, but every time I get a trigger, every time I get a wound resurface, I'm like, okay, I get it now. And then I have to think about this. My twin is only going through his spiritual awakening since he met me properly, I think. You know, I know he was on an awakening journey anyway, probably unconsciously. But over the last year, he's gone through the fucking the turbulence of the roller coaster as well. But he's doing it at a slower pace. We have to remember, we have the knowledge, we have the time, we have the space. We're giving ourselves those moments of pause to heal, and we understand it. You know, I've been on my awakening journey since 2018. And I remember at the start, when I wasn't fully aware of what I was going through, if I was going through a dark night of the soul, it was detrimental. It was horrendous. And don't get me wrong, actually, because even though actually, you know, I say that's the start of my journey, I went through a dark night of the soul between February and around June or July this year. And I didn't even know I was in a dark night of the soul until I came out of it. And, you know, and then that was like the start of my journey. You know, like before I knew what a dark night of the soul was, and you go through a dark night of the soul, it is really the end of the world kind of energy. And so when you go further along on your journey and you're aware you're in a dark night of the soul, it doesn't make it easier, but it does a little bit, because you're aware that you're in that energy and that you will come out of it. But when you're not aware that you're in something, you know, it's even worse. So you have to be mindful of the fact that even though you're the more spiritual twin, therefore you're aware of what you're going through. So when your trigger comes up, you can face it, you can question it, you can release it. But your twin is not going to be as aware. Now, obviously, hopefully they are evolving as they go as well, and they are becoming more aware. But when you're the less aware twin, it's more of a It's more of a shock to the system. Every time you get a trigger, and it takes us a long time to even understand triggers. For a long time, we're always blaming the external. We're blaming our twin for triggering us. We're blaming an external party for triggering us. We're blaming an external situation for triggering us. But the trigger is only there to activate the wound, to resurface the wound. So when you're aware of your triggers and you're aware of your growth, as say the more awakened twin may be, it is a little bit easier. Okay, it's not easier. It is easier. It's a real oxymoron here. Do you know what I mean? It's easier, but it's not. It's still really difficult, but it's kind of easier because we're aware. So can you remember back to when you were at the start of your spiritual journey, still a novice, still very unsure of what was going on? Your mind is a battlefield because you're battling with your old self and your new self, but you're questioning your sanity at the same time. So there's all of this stuff going on in your head. So that's just the spiritual awakening side of things. So then you add that to the intensity of your spiritual or your twin flame connection. And as the aware twin, when I get the intense feelings, I can accept them. I go with them because I'm aware of what this connection is. But the less awakened twin is going to be going through all the stuff connected to spiritual awakening on top of the intensity of the feelings of the connection. And when we have past relationship trauma to deal with, that intensity can be scary because we're still kind of going through the effects of the fear of getting hurt again, fear of being abused again, the fear of losing ourselves again. So we're readying ourselves for a new relationship in general by doing our healing. But then there's the excessive love, there's the excessive thoughts as well, which will actually make them run even further because they fear losing themselves anyway. And now there's all these feelings coming up. So there's lots of different things that, that both of us are going through. But mainly your twin, who is a little bit, I don't like saying a little bit behind, in just a little bit of a different place. So that's where the patience comes in. That compassion as well. Compassion for yourself as well. You see, we're not just, effectively we're rushing our twin when we're in impatient energy, but we're rushing ourselves. And you cannot rush growth. You cannot rush healing. Yes, it can be accelerated, but you still have to go at the pace that's right for you. And every one of us is different. It doesn't matter. We're both spiritual beings. You and your twin are spiritual, but we're all spiritual beings. But there's spiritual activations coming online as well. So there's another one that kind of probably fucks with their head, is that their spiritual abilities are coming to life. Their intuition is getting stronger. They're feeling that telepathy. They're starting to realize that they're healers as well. And that's a fact. So it is hard for them to transition. They were still in the matrix effectively. And they're still transitioning out of that. Whereas you're already out of the matrix. And yes, you're still doing the healing. But there's so many different aspects of what they're still doing. And can you imagine, again, back to the start of your healing journey or your spiritual awakening journey? And can you imagine somebody going, hurry up to fuck, will you? Come on, get on with it. And you're in the depths of this despair and fucking energy and the dark night of the soul, and somebody's telling you to get on with it. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's literally going to make you kind of go back into your little box. So effectively, when we're impatient with our twin, we're literally saying, will you hurry up to fuck? I have no time for this. Come on, let's go. And it's really uncompassionate to be forcing somebody to go through their trauma at a quicker pace. And it's the same for you, because if you're impatient with them, you're impatient with yourself. So literally, you have to be kind and caring to yourself, and if you're looking after somebody or helping somebody through their journey, and as a therapist or a coach, that's what we do. And we don't literally say you have to be here and here and here, we have to get this done on this deadline. Yes, we do like having deadlines, and we like to have things done on time. But when it comes to inner healing, you cannot put a timeline on it. You just can't. You know what I mean? And everyone heals differently, and we all heal in layers, so it's going to take time. You know what I mean? You're not going to just, write down all the fucking list of traumas you have and go, right, I'm going to do this one today, tick, this one today, tick. It doesn't work like that. Every trauma is healed in layers. So you have to start from the start, and those layers will keep coming until you're ready to release it completely. So it does take time and patience, and it takes compassion. So less of the rushing and more of the pausing. Be in the moment. Understand that everything will unfold as it's supposed to once you do your healing. You do your healing. You know, their healing has nothing to do with you. Yes, we can mirror healing, we can send healing, but we cannot lose our energy trying to fix them. They need to do themselves. So be patient with yourself and be patient with them. Divine love takes time. You cannot rush something you want to last forever. We have been waiting lifetimes for this moment, so let's do it right. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. Also, I'm hosting a free webinar next week on Friday the 12th of September, 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. I will be speaking on inner child healing, which is a very, very important part of our healing journey. If you want information about that, just comment below. And also I have a new page called Aligning with Angie, where I will be sharing a guided meditation every week. The information for that is in the description box.